Hello, I'm Tom Bailey, and in today's episode, I'll be getting to know Michael Zipursky, who is the CEO of Consulting Success, who specialize in helping entrepreneurial consultants to grow profitable, scalable, and strategic consulting businesses. So, Michael, hello, and a very warm welcome to today's episode.
Yeah, great to be with you, Tom. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. And just out of interest for people listening, whereabouts are you in the world right now?
I'm in Vancouver, BC at the moment.
Hmm.
If it wasn't in the times that we are in, I might be somewhere else because I do like to travel the world
Yeah,
as much as possible with my family. But here we are.
absolutely. And hopefully, the world opens back up for you in the next coming months.
I look forward to it for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So just going to share a little bit more about you before we do get started. So Michael has advised organizations like the Financial Times, Dow Jones, RBC, and Panasonic. And in addition, has helped over 500 consultants from around the world in 75 different industries to add 6 and 7 figures to their annual revenues. The title for today's episode is How to Grow a Consulting Practice, and Michael will show us how to do that in just 7 minutes. So question number one today is, who are your ideal clients?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned it, Tom. I mean, they are entrepreneurial consultants, and that really means it's a consultant that might be a solo consultant or a firm owner, but they want to build a business. They're not just thinking about doing the work, which can
Mhm.
you can still call yourself a consultant, but you could essentially be a contractor. Entrepreneurial consultants are those that really want to build a business, be strategic about it, and make a great impact while they're doing it.
Fantastic, great. And when you look at your typical clients, what would you say is the main challenge that they face?
Yeah, it's growth and growing in a consistent way. So really feeling confident that they know what they're doing, that they are focusing on the right activities, they have the right strategy, they have the right tactics, and that they're seeing their business growing in a consistent way. That's what most people are lacking or looking for support with.
Great. And you mentioned consistency a few times there. So let's think of inconsistency. What's the biggest impact that that might have on their business or themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all internally, it's a feeling of a lack of confidence. Sometimes it
Yeah.
can impact your self-esteem. You might wonder, am I doing the right thing? Um, Externally, what you might see is people jumping around from one shiny object to the next, kind
Hmm.
of in search of the golden goose or the
Yeah.
the golden egg. That secret, that shortcut that somehow will magically get them to where they want to go to. But most often that's not the case. What we've seen pretty consistently is that you need to have a foundation in place.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, perfect. So I guess foundation is a good starting point as ever. What other or what one piece of advice would you like to give to somebody to say, this is what you need to do to really get started?
Yeah. So if we look at, there's several key areas that are really critical. Very often when people say, I'm having a problem generating leads, or my marketing isn't working for me, or I'm not seeing growth the way that I'd like to. I know that I have more potential inside of me, and I'm just kind of hitting a wall or at a plateau. When we kind of analyze where they're at, in almost all cases, we see that number one, they don't have clarity around who their ideal client is. They're too broad, they're too wide. Number two, they don't have what we call a magnetic message. That's a message that gets the attention and interest of your ideal clients, gets them raising their hand. They say, yeah, I want to have a conversation with you. Those two have to go together. You can't have a message that's going to resonate with somebody if you don't know who you actually want to get their attention. And that's those two. The lack of those two often lead to marketing that doesn't work. So people that are hunting around trying to find the right tactic to work for them, and they're not getting results with it, it's usually not the tactic. It's they don't have the foundation around those two elements. The third is then what we call strategic offers. And this is really about how you take all of your years of experience, your expertise, how do you package it, position it, place value on it, and price it strategically so that number one, it aligns with what your ideal clients actually want to buy, which therefore makes that kind of dirty word of sales feel really great because you end up just providing somebody what they want to buy. But also, when you are strategic about how you think about your strategic offers, you really are building your offers and your services in a way that aligns with your business model. And that's really important so that you don't wake up one day and go, wow, I've built this beast. All I've really done is create another job for myself. I'm working more hours than I was for my employer before, and I'm not really
Mhm.
making that much more money. And so you want to be very intentional about what your offers are and how they all go together and kind of leverage. Do they have the right pricing strategy, all that, so it's packaged in a way that works both for the market and the client that you want to serve and for your own business.
Fantastic, love that. So, like you said, a lot of importance of niche and getting that right message in front of the right market, and then obviously coming up with that strategic offer to make sure that it does land really well in front of that market. Fantastic. And to help people with this, do you have any resources or anything you can offer to help people get started?
Yeah, I mean, so we've actually put together some of our most popular articles and resources that go in a lot more depth than the 7 minutes or 7 questions that we have today. If anyone wants, you can get a free copy of that. It's called the Consulting Blueprint. If you go to consultingsuccess.com/blueprint, it's a 47-page guide, a lot of detail on these topics, and feel free to grab a copy of that if you'd like.
Incredible. And what I'll do then is I'll put that into the show notes, and that link again is consultingsuccess.com/blueprint. And like I said, you can click on that in the show notes and jump right in. So interesting question then about yourself, Michael, mainly because I'm interested. What would you say is one of the greatest either mistakes or failures you've made either in life or business? And what did you learn from it?
Yeah, I mean, so the first thing, just to be very transparent, is I don't look at really anything that I've done as a failure.
Yeah.
I don't use the word failure because to me, every quote unquote failure is it's a lesson learned.
Great.
That's the first, just to hopefully share with people, and I'm very intentional about that.
Yep.
But when I look at areas where I've had some great lessons, and you can certainly call them mistakes or errors in judgment at that time or wrong decisions, I think most of them come back to this idea of thinking short term over long term. So earlier in my career, I've made decisions around certain investments where maybe I was drawn to them more because I saw that they could provide a really good return, or I thought that it would be a very positive return in a short period of time, and so I was excited about that, and didn't really think through the long term consequences or what I didn't weigh the risk and rewards, and so that's something that I've been much more intentional about over the years. To try and always think long term in everything that we do, because especially when you're in a business like the consulting business, it's a relationship based business, and your reputation and the relationship that you have with people, or even the marketplace or the community that you serve, is absolutely critical. And so it's really important that you're always thinking long term.
Fantastic. Great perspective on the growth mindset in terms of switching a failure into a learning opportunity. And then obviously, like you said, that long-term view as well. So last question from me today is, what is the one question that I should have asked you that will also bring some great value to our audience?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that we could always talk about, Tom, when it comes to building a successful consulting business. I think one topic that can benefit a lot of people would be around delegation and how to really shift from being a solo consultant or solo, whether you're a speaker or an agency owner or whatever area, kind of whatever type of entrepreneur you're in, to really thinking about building a team in a way that is strategic, where there's leverage, where it's profitable. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. It's a big topic. I have some of that in that consulting blueprint that we mentioned earlier, but I'm happy to share anything that would be helpful in the time that we have today. You let me know, but that's definitely an important transition that I think very often people put off way too long, and they tell themselves all kinds of reasons like, yeah, I don't want to pay somebody. I could just do it faster myself, or I can do it better. It takes too long to train somebody. I don't want to manage people. But it's, you will always reach a point. There's very few people that are able to consistently make greater and greater impacts, see higher and higher levels of success all by themselves. The vast majority of people will need at some point to look at ways to bring in more leverage, whether it's through productization or some other form, or building a team and delegating. And so I think that's an area that a lot of people could benefit from, studying and going deeper into.
Fantastic. Really important point to end on. And it's amazing how much you packed into that 7 minutes. Really appreciate it. And thanks again for coming along today. And yeah, thanks for coming and sharing such great value with our audience.
My pleasure, Tom. You put a kind of a big task on how to build a successful consulting business in 7 minutes. I don't think I did that anywhere near justice, but I hope there's a few ideas or points in there that are helpful for people.
Of course, and plenty more advice on consultingsuccess.com.